Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and you're welcome to the Shabbat of this morning. The parasha that we're going to discuss about this morning, I cannot overemphasize it. I don't know how am I going to tell you, but I'm telling you this morning that I cannot overemphasize it. The parasha is so important in our present day life that we are living, in what we are seeing in our present day world, in what is going on around the world. And even though this parasha speaks even louder than it's supposed to say, because of the situation that we presently find ourselves in the 21st century. The parasha of this morning is called Parshas Shoftim. And I subtitle it, Tzedek, tirdof. Tzedek, tirdof. Righteousness, you shall pursue. Justice, pursue. God is giving us this understanding, and Moshe Rabbeinu is trying to tell us that we have to follow after righteousness. We have to pursue after justice, even though if justice or righteousness is elusive. We understand that I want us to come down to the real world. And those of us who are listening to me on the internet, I want us to hear and listen very well that yes, we don't want us to live in some kind of inferior world, in some kind of the higher heavens. No, but in the real world that we live on this planet Earth, I want us to come down to earth and see that yes, righteousness, justice is hard to attain. In this 21st century especially, justice is hard to attain. We can see that, and Moshe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago is telling us, but we shouldn't, because it is hard to attain or because it is elusive, then we should just sit down and say, you know what, that is it and that is all. No, but Moshe is giving us the advice that we have to rise up to the what? To the cause of the day. We have to rise up to our responsibility and pursue after it. We have to pursue after righteousness. We have to pursue after justice. Justice, pursue. Tzedek, tirdof. Justice shall you pursue. This tearing sentence is one of the greatest statements in the Torah. To many, it has become the great principle undergirding their Hebrew identity and indeed the motivating principle of their lives. The great involvement of Jews in socialist and democratic movements and their disproportionate involvement in social actions and the helping profession show the continuation of the ongoing importance of this pursuit of justice in the life of even secular Israelites. We can see that in the life of many Israelites, in the life of many Hebrew people, it is embedded in our DNA, it is embedded in our genes that we have to pursue after justice, after righteousness, because that is what the Torah has commanded us. And we can see, even though in the early socialist movement, majority of men, majority of women who led this movement were Jews in descent. And also in the early democratic movement, we can also see that there's a lot of Jewish people who stand firm and say, okay, this is the idea that I think that is good to govern human being or human race. And also in the helping profession, can't the lawyers, can't engineers, can't the judges, can't the doctors, can't the nurses, can't you can see thousands of Hebrew in this profession because it is in them to help other people. There is another great statement in the Torah. Kedoshim, tihyu. Be holy. That is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. These two main principles of Judaism are the two poles of what Reformed Judaism has called the ethical message of the prophet. In the halakhic Judaism, there are the great meta-halakhic principles undergirding the legal system. Together, they are also the major element of the Hebrew narrative by which every Israelite by which every Hebrew understands their role in history. God, who is just and holy, desires that we establish a world full of justice and holiness. I repeat, God, who is just and holy, desires that we establish a world full of justice and holiness. That is the purpose of the Hebrew people and the thrust of our history. According or achieving it, bring on the Messianic time. When on the day we attain justice, on the day we attain righteousness, that is when the Messianic time will be ushered in. That is when the Messiah will appear. But we are working towards it. Yes, I know it is not easy and it is tough. Even though Moshe Rabbeinu gave us this understanding that it is not easy, it is tough, but we have to try as much as possible. We have to do all our best to attain justice. Justice and holiness are not separate items. No, you cannot divide them. They are just like the DNA, they are intertwined. Justice and holiness are not separate items. There is no such thing as holiness without justice. You cannot attain holiness without justice. It is justice that helps you to attain holiness. It is justice that helps you to attain that level of righteousness, that level of holiness that you desire. We said, no justice, no peace. For justice, for peace to reign, there must be justice. He said, V'ha'el ha-kadosh negdash bet tzedakah, which is the holy God is sanctified by justice. God is a God of justice. It is God is sanctified because God is a God of justice. You can see that, yes, that the evil will never go unpunished. That the bad people will never go do what? They say, oh, you know what? I'm okay, I'm fine. That you do bad thing and you say you want to sleep in peace. That will never happen. That is what the Torah is telling us here. It's saying that for you to be able to attain righteousness, we have to do justice. A long line of prophets from Amos to Jeremiah, to Isaiah, to John the Baptist, to Yeshua, castigated the people for their concentration on the ritual and court without an equivalent concern with justice. They will not listen to them. The people will not listen to the prophet. And we constantly misunderstand them now. We often seek to understand the prophet by finding something wrong or idolatrous about the court itself, or by assuming that the worshipper were either totally hypocritical or were simply going through the motions. We see what Isaiah from Amos to Jeremiah is talking to the people, saying that you concentrate more of your attention on the rituals. What are the rituals in the temple? The ritual is, you know what? Oh, I need to come, I wash my hands, I wash my leg with water, then I come in, I have my prayer scroll, I put it upon my head, and I bow down 7 times, 200 million times, I bring the goat, I bring the ram, I bring the cow, and I give it to the Kohen Gadol or to the Kohanim to sacrifice for my sin, iniquity, and then, yes, hallelujah, I'm clean, I go home and remain the same again. The Torah is telling us that for you to say that you want to follow God or be an exemplary by just doing only the ritual, that doesn't work. You have to be the doer of the word, not the listener alone. Because the people that only do the ritual but they don't do the spiritual work are like listener but not the doer of the word. What the Torah is telling us this morning, my people, is that we have to be the doer of the word, not the hearer alone. Not only the ritual alone that leads you to the word to come. Not only the ritual alone that leads us to the word to come, but be the doer of the word. Actual actions. We have to do the action of justice, of righteousness. But as far as we can see, there was nothing wrong with the ritual observance. Of course, there's nothing wrong about it, but the doing it is the most important. The religious worship that Amos condemned was a cult of thanksgiving for God's abundant gift of the land and its fertility, and prayer for the continuation of this divine hesed. Nor were people simply going through the motions. Even Amos acknowledged that they were sincere people who approached God eagerly and generously. The anger of Amos and Jeremiah is not directed at the people's desire for holiness, but at their lack of understanding that there can be no true holiness without a pursuit of true justice. That is what the anger of Amos and Jeremiah are. That the people are just doing mouthwash. They are just doing the artificial, the physical cleanliness, while their soul is dirty. Our clothes is clean. Oh, I'm going to the synagogue. I buy the biggest and the most expensive clothes. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that is wrong. It is good to come before God with a new cloth, expensive cloth, and glorify the name of the Lord. It's good to present yourself clean before the Lord your God. But the question is your heart as clean as that of your clothes? That is the question, right? That is what the question is. You are a man that does fraud. You thief people's money and you go and buy most expensive clothes. You think that God will accept that? You are a man that destroys lives. You are the man that encourages women to commit abortion, to kill, to commit murder. And you come to the synagogue and you shout hallelujah. You are wasting your time, my friend. That is what the Torah is talking about. The Torah is telling us that it is not only by their word, but we shall know them by their actions. That is it. Not your word alone. I can come and say whatever I want to say here, but is my action match my word? That is what the Torah is asking. We have to match our actions with our word. We have not quite learned the lesson, but nevertheless, it has not changed during the millennium since the time of Deuteronomy. Today also, no amount of halachic observance or ritual participation will create holiness if there is no true search for true justice. You can do whatever you want to do. You can beat your heart and whip yourself and all your body is gushing out blood without your heart being clean. You are wasting your time. That's what he's saying. You can give all your property to the poor. You can give everything that you want to the needy. And you are an evil man to the core in your heart. You are wasting your time. That will not save you. God is saying, oh man, rise up to the challenge. Stand up and do what is just and what is right. Oh, Amigo is my friend and his son is a criminal. And I am the judge. And me and Amigo, we play golf or we play tennis together. And they brought his son in my court. And I look at, oh, this is the son of Amigo. How can I sentence him? And then if I sentence him, then tomorrow I'm not going to play golf with my best friend. I cover it. I make the innocent to be the one who's at fault. And I make the one who's at fault the innocent. What kind of justice is that? What kind of life is that? And that is exactly what is happening in our 21st century life that we're living right now at this moment. If you do not follow their narratives, you are evil. You have to follow the narrative of what they are telling you. If you follow their narrative, even though their narrative is evil, hey, they hail you, you are the best. But when you say, no, this is not true, this is evil before the Lord, they say you are a coward or you are a bigot. They give you names because you do not follow their narratives. So, but the Torah is telling us, I better be a bigot, but I follow the Torah than to follow the narrative of a man. Because at the end of the day, at the end of time, are you going to be welcome in the Garden of Eden or not? That's all it's all lies about. You shall not take bribe, the Torah says. Because bribe make the word of the wise cruel. That's what the Torah speaks. But when you take a bribe, then you have no power, right? You are powerless to sentence that person because he's the son of my friend, and we play golf together, we play tennis together, and we do business together. See? So this is what God is saying. We have to stand firm to do what is right. This parasha demands that we pursue justice, not that we observe or guard it or remember it. No, it is not that, you know what, I heard it or I'm hearing it, it enters here, it goes out here. Not being the hearer, but we have to observe it. I would say the parasha demands that we observe, that we do justice. Not just remember, I'm going to guide it. No, you're not guiding nothing. Action is what the Torah requires, not your statement. Elsewhere, we are told to Baket Shalom Ve Radefuhu, which means search for the pursuit of justice. And we remember that Aaron was a Shalom Ve Rodef Shalom, meaning lover of peace and the pursuer of peace. That was is written in Avot, Peki Avot 1:12. Obligation, but a right. The pursuit of happiness. Right. So sorry. Let me just quickly come back here. To this pursuit, the founding father of America had a third one, which means not an obligation but a right. The pursuit of happiness. If you look at the Declaration of Independence of the United States, they say all men are created equal, right? All men are created equal. They have the sentence of to pursue of what? The pursuit of happiness, of this, of that it is not just an obligation, but the right of the people, right? It's a right. They give to the people as a right. But in today America, can we say that is what is happening? Even though 200 or 300 years ago, can we even say that is what actually happened? Because I see that in the history of the people, not all men are created equal. Some men are created more superior than the other. Because your actions speak louder than your words. You can write it on the paper, it looks fantastic, it looks good on the paper, right? It's very nice on the paper. But actually, is that what is happening? Is that what actually happened in the history of the people? No! It's not what happened, because we can see that some men are here while others are here, right? Some men are killed like chickens, while some reign like king and princes. But on your paper, it looks fantastic. It looks nice. But in my own understanding, what the people doesn't understand, he said, we the people. Who are the people? We the people declare. Who are those people? Did you call the slaves and ask him, do you agree? No. Did you call the one that is dying? Did you ask him, do you agree? No. So for that statement alone, I will tell you, it is not the people, but when they talk about we the people, meaning those rulers, those few rulers are the people, not the other people. And some people who doesn't understand, whose eyes are blind, they'll say, in the statement of independence, they say we the people. Who are you? You are not the people. You are not human beings to them. You are just an animals to them to do the work. The statement we the people is the few leaders, the few ones who are there declare that this is what we want. They don't consider you the common man on the street. Because if they consider the common man on the street, then there will be no slavery. Right? One will not be suffering and dying like chicken, while the other drink wine and enjoy in the palaces. So that is what I'm saying. It is not the word is written on the paper, but your action itself. We are not told how to pursue justice and peace. The ongoing pursuit is part of our obligation and our rights. So we have to constantly pursue it, as I said. In the real world, it's tough. It's hard. It's not just as easy as that. but we have to continue to pursue it until we get it. We get it right. Parshas Shoftim gave us a roadmap for the pursuit of justice. It prescribes the establishment of a legal system with magistrates and officers and guidelines for its use. The first requirement is wholeness. Wholeness is the first requirement. That means completion. That means holistically. It has to be holistic. Just as we should not sacrifice blemished animal to God, so we should not stand blemished before God. The judges should not stand blemished before God. So the blemish, those who have affronted God by idolatrous behavior must be stoned, but only after just judicial procedure. The parasha then starts to delineate proper judicial procedures. It requires thorough inquiry and the testimony of 2 or more witnesses. Since cases are not always so easy to decide or easily decided, the parasha set up a judicial hierarchies. Any dispute, capital or not, too difficult for the local court is sent to the central judicial authority in Jerusalem, whose verdict is binding on pains of death. So, we can see here, God is telling us that for us to be able to pursue, at least to pursue justice in the direction that is telling us, we have to set up a judicial system, a true judicial court. Not the one that is bought by money. Not the one that when, I can bribe my way through. Not the one that is because the lawyers, the biggest lawyer, once I get the biggest money, I buy the biggest lawyer, for sure I'm going to win, even though I am the criminal. Because remember, those lawyers and those judges, they are friends. Right? They play golf, as I said, they play golf together, tennis together, their children are friends with one another. So if a lawyer comes up and that lawyer is my friend, I will play badminton at the same sport hall, right? I don't want to get him angry. It's a big name lawyer, right? Okay, he give me my share, I give him his share, and everybody is happy, and the innocent is condemned. See, that is what I'm saying. So the Lord, our God, is telling us we have to we have to build a holy court, a good court. It's a holistic system. We can't differentiate, we can't divide it. The body is holistic, right? The society has to be like that. If the head is dirty, how can the body be clean? If the judge is a criminal, how can the criminal give a judgment of truth? That's where the question is. Because it's a man that is filled with death. He only takes bribe. Once you give him the bribe or the money, the just word becomes a crooked word in his mouth. So this is what the Torah is telling us this morning. Parshas Shoftim. You have to do justice. Pursue after justice. Without justice, no peace. The parasha turn to this question of authority and seek to prevent a tyrannical subversion of justice by multiplying various forms of authority and limiting them. A strategy also advocated by the narratives about the passing of authority from Moshe to Joshua and the priest. Shoftim limits the accumulation of royal wealth and power. It denies the Levite and priest an independent economic well-being. It demands the authority of true prophet, but makes it very difficult for a prophet to speak by prescribing death to those whose predictions do not come true. Exactly. The law of Moshe is the true law, which God has given. He said in this parasha, it limits the wealth of a king. In the world that we live now, who can tell me the richest woman on the planet is the Queen of England? Right? It just acquire wealth, they don't care how they acquire it. A lot of news has been coming out, even about her children, who are taking money from the Arabian kings, from the Arabian royalty in doing evil. Right? So this is what I am saying. When you say in our system, in the Hebrew system, the power of the king is limited. The wealth of the king is limited. You can't say, okay, because I'm the king, I can acquire all the wealth and do whatever I want to do. I'm the king. No. You are a representative of God. Here, that what the meaning of it is. The true king is God. God is the true king. You are just a captain of the people. A captain of the people to guide the people and to protect them. That is your job. How many of them goes to war now? No. You tell them, oh, I am the president, right? Okay, you are the president. That is good. It's fantastic. It's nice. But as a president, according to the Torah, you should be the one leading the war. How many of them leads the war? You see them in their palaces sitting down, and their own children never goes to war. Only the children of the poor they send to the war and kill them like chicken and slaughter them down there, and they'll come and say, I love America. So if you love America so much, or you love Canada so much, let your children lead the war. Then we see that truly you love your country that you lead. But no, it's just all thing is just mouth work. What mouth work? No action, nothing is real. Real love considers sacrifice. That is a real love. And we can see that many times over and over again. Moshe loved his people and he said, God, if you will not listen, okay, fine, let's make a deal. Kill me. Remove my name from the book of life and let the people live. That is love. He loved his people to the core that God, I don't want to enter the Garden of Eden. I don't care. But let these people enter into the land. That is love. But you hide your children. You hide your wealth. You hide everything. The poor will pay all the tax and you don't pay tax. And you are the richest person on the planet. What type of mentality is that? Where is the justice? You want to create war, right? You want to gain from war and make profit out of war, but your children doesn't go. You send the children of the poor to go and die. Then you say, I love America, or I love Canada. If you love Canada, let your son and your daughter lead the war. Then we see that yes, if you cannot lead it, let your children lead the war. Then we know that yes, you love Canada or you love the United States. And it also retains some of the authority of the family. The family of a slave man is not the judge who determines the guilt of the slayer. The elder do that. Nor the sentencer who demand the death sentence. The law require it. But it is the executioner. For the elder deliver the killer to the blood avenger, having delineated the power of authority other than the Shoftim and Shoftrim, with whom the parasha began. It now turned to the scope of the authority of those officers. It prescribes proper judicial procedure, ordering cities of refuge, and where killer can be saved while awaiting trial, and where accidental homicide remain after their trial. It requires 2 witnesses for all trials and divides and provide tit for tat retribution for false witnesses. So what I'm telling us at this place is that this law also gives us the city of refuge, right? Where if a man kills somebody accidentally, no plan, not a murder, accidentally. Somebody that accidentally is different from a murder. A murder is you plan from the beginning, everything. That is a murder. Then you face the consequence, right? A life for a life, tit for tat. That is it, right? But in our present day world, is that true? No. In our present day world, we see people, right, that kill people. They know the plan is a murder, planned very well, right? And the judge will say, no, we are humane. Let us be humane. We put them in prison. They are even enjoying more than you and me. Because they don't pay tax, they don't work, and they have TV, internet, everything, air condition, everything is perfect in that place. How can such a man change? How can such a man improve his life? You bring them out, they go and commit another one because they want to go back to that place. They don't want to work. So the Torah is telling us the truth. But human beings make the word of God not effective. You don't know? Our God is too quarrel. That's what they are saying. That we want to be more humane than God. God has said life is for life. It's not stupid. Because when you do that, then people will understand that no matter how, they will never escape judgment. They will never escape the true justice. And the people that you murder, their family, will have peace. Because justice has been served. But if justice is not served, how can the family have peace? How can the family have closure to their pain? That's what God is saying. There must be justice in whatever that we do. It also prescribes proper military procedure. The priests are to exhort the people. The shotrim are to exempt those who are recently married or planted and those who are afraid to go. And then the campaign begins. When Israel attacks, it must first invite surrenders. Only after it is denied can Israel attack. During a siege, Israel must spare all fruit-bearing trees. After the conquest, Israel is to kill the men and take the women and children and animal for a booty. But these rules of limited war say the parasha do not apply to the 7 nations of the land, for whom the parasha called for herem, which means total extermination. Remember, God told us that these 7 nations, the Canaanites, they were in the land. They have to be what? Completely exterminated. And what the Torah said, they have to be removed. Because if you do not remove them, they will be a snare unto you. Because God has given them, their cup is overflowing. That means the cup of their sin, the cup of their iniquity is overflowing. God has given them chance, but they refuse. A nation that sacrificed their own children to their gods. A nation that killed their daughters to their gods. Does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense. And those souls that they have killed cries to God. And now the judgment has come. They have to be what? Completely exterminated. But in other cases, the law is there. The law said, for you to go to war, you have to gather all the people. What do you tell them? You, okay? You know what? Are you married? Yes. A new wife? Yes. Go home. Oh, you. Do you have a new house? Yeah, I just built a new house. Everything is fantastic. You, go home. Oh, I just planted a new vineyard. I have not take the crop. Go home. Oh, are you afraid? Oh, I'm afraid, you know. I'm okay. Go home. What is God telling us? God is giving us the understanding. It is not by number. I don't need your number, because if you are 2 million and you go down there and you win, you say, yeah, because I'm 2 billion. No. It is not the number that God works with. God does in a few number, a few people. So that when you realize that 2 soldiers, 10 soldiers can defeat 1 million soldiers, then you know that yes, this is the hand of God. But if you are 10 million and your enemy is 1 million, you say, hey, yeah, because we are 10 million, it is our what? Our power. No. God is saying it is not by your power. It is not by your strength. It is not because you are smart. It is not because you are holy. It is not because of anything. It's because of me, God. That's what God is saying. It is God that gives us power to prosper. It is God that gives us power to be blessed. It is God that gives us the power to conquer. It is God that lifts us upon his mighty wings. That's what God is telling us. I need just few men who stand firm. Few men with resolve. Few men that said, no matter what, God, I will follow. I will not look back. I will not go back, not to the right, not to the left. I will stand firm, worshiping my God. Those are the people that God is looking for. Not wavy and waver people. People that are afraid. No. People that that's confidence. That are not afraid to tell them that you are a bigot. The truth has to be spoken. Stand firm. For you will see the salvation of God, which God will show us this day. He said, the Egyptian that you see, you will see them no more. It takes resolve. It takes stand. You have to stand for what is right and what is just. All right. Finally, the view of justice detailed in Parshas Shoftim is a view from the top and is concerned with establishing authority and delineating their functions and procedure. The view of justice in Amos and in Psalm 82 is a view from the bottom. it is considered what it looks like to those who have no power. These are two different views of justice, perhaps two different types of justice. Even though they sometimes contradict each other, the parasha order us, Tzedek, tirdof. Justice shall you pursue. We can see that God is telling us, even though there's two tiers of justice, the justice that is told in Shoftim is the justice from the top, from the head down. The head has to be clean. If the head is not clean, then the body cannot be clean. Why the justice that Amos talks about is a justice from the bottom up. Meaning, what does it mean? Meaning that all fingers are not created equal. Right? Understand me? All fingers are not created equal. And the example before we close, he said, the Torah said, to whom much is given, much is expected. A boy is raised with a silver spoon. A boy is raised in a rich home, in a super rich home. A boy went to Oxford University. He went to Cambridge University. He's well talented, he's well advanced in education, right? And he committed a crime, right? And there's another boy who has not gone to school. His highest school is grade 2, right? And he's born for the poor family, very, very poor. And his understanding is the understanding of a grade 2-year-old. They commit the same crime. In the sense of Amos' kind of justice, he's saying that when God talks about that the poor, you shall do justice to the poor, to the widows, and to the orphan. Amos is saying that if you put these two together in a law court, right? The two of them in a law court, the one that went to Oxford University, the one that is raised with a silver spoon, the one that his papa is super rich, that one has to get the severe punishment than the one that is born from a poor family. Why? Because the one that is born from a poor family understands nothing. He's not educated as the one that went to Harvard University. His understanding is limited, is small. But in our world, the one that went to Harvard University is free, while the poor one suffered. And the Amos is saying that is not right. And that is what God is talking about, to do justice to the poor and to the needy and to the orphan and to the widows. Because the orphan has nobody to defend them. The widow has no husband to defend her. You do justice to them. God is not saying that you should pervert justice. No. Justice cannot be perverted. The justice has to be done to everybody. But you have to reason. You have to understand their background. What is the background of this woman? Because many women without no husband, we know, even though in our world, we know how hard it is. How much more 4,000, 3,000 years ago, a woman that has no husband is like, they mash you. You have no defender, nobody to defend you. And you see, and this type of a woman that has children, and the husband is dead. You see the way they harass these children. The women can be forced into doing what is evil, can be forced to do what is bad in order to feed the children. And the Torah is saying, in that case, consider her background. Look at her background. Look at the pain she's bearing. When you want to judge her with mercy. But if a woman is rich, her husband is alive, and everything is good and hunky, everything is fine, and this woman commits the same crime, like the one that has no husband, that has nothing, that one that everything is fine with has to face the full wrath of the law. Because she doesn't lack nothing. So why are you committing this crime? That's what the Torah is saying. So we have to understand. Torah is not saying pervert or convert or do not give justice to or pervert the law to favor the poor. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is consider their backgrounds. Understand why this woman committed this crime. Maybe it's because of pain. Maybe because she has nobody to offer her help. Maybe there's nobody to assist her because of her dead husband. And she has a lot of things in a lot of load to carry alone with 4, 10, 15 children to feed alone. So this is what God is telling us, my people, that we as a people, two of them, look, the two form of justice seem as if they contradict, but they didn't. What the Torah is telling us is that we should harmonize them. We should make them holistic, right? Harmonize these two forms of law. That means that the one from the top, that the head has to be clean. If the head is not clean, the body cannot be clean. You cannot have a judge that is a criminal to be judging the people. That will never happen. Or a prime minister or a president who is evil and you want good to happen. You are wasting your time. From the bottom up, show mercy. Show mercy to the poor. Not diverting the law, but show mercy. Understand. Look at their background. Look at their pain. Look at what they are passing through. Understand that. And by so doing, you judge. So that's what the Torah is telling us. We must pursue we must pursue both types of justice. We must find a way to make the tension between them a dynamic, creative tension. Our attempt at their reconciliation must continually carry us forward in our pursuit of that justice, which is true justice. Justice, which makes manifest the holiness of God. Without justice, there is no peace. It is justice that manifests the holiness of God. God, the God of justice. God said, don't worry. The justice is mine. I will pay. See, that is why God is awesome. God, you see, he does not take bribe for nobody. God does not look at the face of nobody. No. He doesn't look at the face of nobody. He will pay everybody according to their works. According to your deeds, God will repay you. So, and that is why I love my God. He's so awesome. So, my people, we have to understand this thing, what the Parshas Shoftim is telling us. Justice, you shall pursue. Righteousness, you shall pursue. Tzedek, tirdof. Parshas Shoftim. Shabbat shalom.